Welcome back to McGoo's Reviews. All right, y'all. So recently, George Clinton did an interview when he was speaking about Kendrick Lamar. Before we get into the video, we just passed 1,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 2,000. After that, we're going to hit 10,000, 100,000. We're going to hit a million. Going to claim it will happen. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit the like button at the bottom. I really do appreciate you guys. All right, y'all. So George Clinton, one of the greatest of all time. I'm young. I turned 38 yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday. I turned 38, man. But I'm an old soul, man. I love old school music and everything like that. My bad, I got all these daggone texts coming in. But big Parliament Funkadelic fan. You want to talk from Atomic Dog, just hits upon hits upon hits. You want to talk about a sample artist, but one of the greats of all time, George Clinton. George Clinton also did work with Kendrick Lamar on To Pimp a Butterfly, Wesley's Theory. Man, To Pimp a Butterfly has some legends on there. He worked with George Clinton, Ronald Isley. I want to say at one point in time, I think he was trying to get Prince on there as well. So that To Pimp a Butterfly is a great project, but like I said, Kendrick is an old soul too. So he has that love, respect, and admiration for the trailblazers. You know what I mean? But George Clinton came out and spoke about him and said he compares Kendrick Lamar's music to a psychiatrist. And we're gonna break that down. Also, why I think he thinks that as well. Because like I said, he did say he talks about topics that people are afraid of. So this article is coming from people.com. It says George Clinton compares Kendrick Lamar to a psychiatrist for rapping about topics most people are afraid to address, right? Goes on to say, says George Clinton is singing Kendrick Lamar's praises. In a conversation with New York Times Magazine for the 30 greatest living American songwriters. I'm going to pause right there. I did 2 videos on that already. I did the actual list itself, and I did one of Jay-Z's interview, which I thought was really good as well. So now this is, following that same trend. It says a singer-songwriter who's best known as the leader of the funk bands, Parliament and Funkadelic, offered up a tribute for the Not Like Us rapper. I'll put it like this. He, along with Motown, Sly Stone, the Beatles, that kind of institution is going to last. There are a lot of slick writers out here nowadays with lyrics and things, but he writes with soul. I'm going to read that one more time because just the names. I'll put it like this. He, along with Motown, Sly Stone, the Beatles, that kind of institution is going to last. There are a lot of slick writers out here nowadays with lyrics and things, but he writes with his soul. Yeah. We're going to continue because I'm going to come back to that. But anyway, it says the Knee Deep singer, another classic. Knee Deep is a classic. The Knee Deep singer then praised Lamar 38 for his maturity, which comes through in his music. He's a young kid, but when I met him, he sounded my age. He's like a psychiatrist on record. He talks about explicitive, probably said ish, that most people are afraid to talk about. He said he's at that point where he can move the conversation. Nobody will talk about these topics. And he talks about them so matter-of-factly that you don't even think, you can't say that. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Goes on to say, Clinton also complimented Lamar's ability to stay relevant among younger generations. And I'm going to pause right there. And I think when he talks about, the whole psychiatrist angle and all that kind of stuff, like Kendrick has always been tapped into. I think he was even named after Eddie Kendricks, from the Temptations and stuff like that. But at the same time, he's always been tapped into like, the OGs and like I said, the Trailblazers and stuff. But a great example of that maturity that we've seen, was always there. But I think Mr. Brown, the Big Steppers, man, that was a great project. It was a great project. And like I said, Kendrick was gone for 5 years at that point. But when Mr. Brown, the Big Steppers came out, a lot of people were like, huh? You know what I'm saying? But it seemed like it was a lot of stuff he had to get off his chest when you have songs like, dang, off the top of my head, We Cry Together. You know what I'm saying? Mother I Sober. Like a lot of real deep tracks on there. Real big ones. So I think that that project right there allowed him to get a lot off his chest. And now you just see him growing as an artist. Like that was a real pivotal. I think that project, when we go back, when it's all said and done, look at his catalog and stuff like that, that's going to be a project like, yeah, man, it was a great turning point because, yeah, he had classics, ahead of that, hits and all that kind of stuff. But that project was probably his most important project. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's going to be debatable, but I think that would be looked at his most important project. Like, all right, yeah, that was a point where he had to get a lot off his chest. You know what I'm saying? You really did see the growth. The growth was always there, but he really did grow as an artist, in my personal opinion. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? But goes on to say, it says, Clinton also compliments Lamar's ability to stay relevant among younger generations. Kids today, they want their new artists. They don't want their older brother or sister's artists or their mother or father's. Kids don't like you after a few years. He said, when you can go past that and have the next generation after that still talking about you, you're doing something. And I do agree with that. And I think that also speaks about the ageism in hip hop. I did a video on that a while back on how I think ageism is dead in hip hop because now You see like from the Clips dropping fantastic projects. You know, Jay-Z's out here. Like the OGs and the legends, man, they're still paving the way, man. They're still dropping great projects. Like, you know, Nas and DJ Premier last year, De La Soul, you know, their posthumous album, Mobb Deep's posthumous album, which was fantastic, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like the legends are still out here, man. Kendrick is what? Him, J. Cole, Kendrick, they're like, you know, early 40s, late 30s, you know what I mean? They're around my age group. And the fact of the matter is, like, man, if you can still make music that shows your growth and maturity, but at the same time, like, people can, you know, the younger people can bob their head too and like, oh yeah, that joint was tough. Yeah, that says a lot about you, you know what I mean? And before I continue on, like Babyface even said that about Michael Jackson. Like Michael Jackson's been passed away in 2009, but he has music from what, late 60s all the way up to his death, man, but that he just still grows. I mean, not just grows, but he gains more fans, you know, from the younger generation. So that definitely does say a lot. Two different artists, you know, Kendrick and Michael, but I did like that juxtaposition between, you know, that what Clinton was saying and what Babyface was saying. Anyway, it goes on to say, in closing, Clinton singled out Lamar's 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly, which was named the best rap album at the Grammys, which it deserved. I think it deserved album of the year too. I ain't gonna hold you. And said it was like one song to me. Yep. It was like Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. And he's starting all over each time he puts an album out. He's like a brand new kid, he said. And that was George Clinton, man. That's very high compliments. It says Lamar and Clinton previously collaborated on Wesley's Theory, which I already talked about, which was the opening track to To Pimp a Butterfly. They also collaborated on Funkadelic remix single, Ain't That Funkin' Kinda Hard on You. In February, Lamar set a record at the Grammys by becoming the most awarded rapper in history with 27 wins, surpassing Jay-Z's previous record with 25. During the show, he took home the award for Best Rap Album and Record of the Year. He says, I'm not good at talking about myself, but I express myself. I express it through the music. Lamar said during his acceptance speech for the Record of the Year, it's an honor to be here. It's the Tyler Creator, the Clips. They are my brothers to be in this category. What's up, Pusha Man? What's up, Miles, man? That's right. Every time I tell this, hip-hop is always going to be right here, right? And I'm going to pause right there. Well, yeah, I'm going to pause right there. But anyway, man, I absolutely agree. Like, yeah, I agree with, you know, George Clinton's statements about Kendrick and everything like that. Like, even going back to the whole Marvin Gaye, my bad, my back is, bro. Going back to the whole Marvin Gaye thing, how he spoke about Marvin Gaye's what's going on. Like, remember Kendrick did sample Marvin Gaye, you know what I'm saying, when he did the Hard Power 5, when he did the Hard Power 5, that was really great. Go check out the Hard Power 5 music video. That was really cool how he did that, like, with the whole change in the faces from, like, Nipsey to Will Smith to Kanye. That was a really dope, but again, goes back to, man, he's still young, but he got that old soul about him. You know what I mean? So able to really not market, but at the same time has that gain of respect from the new and the older generation. You know what I'm saying? So that was very, very cool. Yeah, man. But overall, I absolutely agree. Like I said, yeah, hands down, one of the greatest, you know, MCs of all time. Easily, no doubt. Anyway, tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section. What you think about George Clinton's statements about Kendrick Lamar? Hope everybody has a blessed day. I'll see y'all soon. Have a good one.